All the boys are already out on Sankirtan, are they? Distributing Bhagavad Gitas. Wonderful. Oh. I have cartels in there. Yeah. Somewhere. Well, today is a special day on the calendar. I'm told it's Raghunatha Dasa's Gosvami Tirobhav. Is that correct or not correct? Because everywhere you go, the calendar is not always the same. Sometimes we were in New York yesterday, so it may not be the same as here. Was it? Huh?
Goswami's disappearance.
Somebody say loud and clear so I can announce it. What is it today?
Raghunatha Das Goswami.
Raghunatha Das Goswami.
Raghunatha Goswami.
What? Avirbhav, Tirobhav?
All disappearance.
Anybody else?
Krishna Das Kaviraj.
Disappearance?
Yeah.
Three of them.
Oh my goodness. What a day, huh? What a Dwadashi. Very special Dwadashi. So I think we should focus on that in the short time we have today. And what do you think, Murli? Is that okay?
Yeah, complete.
But it means whoever's doing the Bhagavatam class tomorrow will have to take that into account, because I won't read it.
No, tomorrow will be Chaitanya Chaturmurti class, so it's not a problem.
Well, whoever's giving the next Bhagavatam class will have to take that into account. So obviously if we're going to talk about Raghunatha Das Goswami from Srila Prabhupada's writings, we're going to be referring to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I wrote it down, the section I thought to read. There's so much, of course, only a little drop of what can be said about Raghunath Das. Not so much is said about Raghunath Bhatta, of course. He didn't want to be particularly mentioned. And Krishna Das Kaviraj also not, I mean, there is, but not so much, because he was there, but he was like the next wave, and he compiled the book itself, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So naturally he talks a little bit in there about his good fortune, and a little bit about his history is there, how it came to be that he came to Vrindavan and so on. But we're going to hone, is that the word? Hone? Hone in on Raghunatha Das Goswami this morning. Been away from England, I'm forgetting usual words. In America they use similar words, but not quite the same. So we'll sing. What shall we sing? Yaya Nilo Premadonna. We have it. You have a songbook here, please? Songbook. I can use my computer if you don't have songbooks. But this is very awkward using this table for a computer, isn't it? I'll have to look it up. Jai Shri Raghunatha Das Goswami Tirobhav Mahamahotsava Ki Jai Shri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami Tirobhav Mahamahotsava Ki Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Mahamahotsava Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now, well, here it is. Okay, so if you have it on the screen, please put it up for everyone. Those who don't know it, but some of you may know it off by heart. At least we can try to imbibe it within the heart. Let's see what's going on here. Slideshow. Play from start. There we go. This is a song which was compiled by Narottam Das Thakur, and where he's feeling lamentation. Normally we think that, well, this is a material characteristic, isn't it? What's that famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita? There are so many. Shochati, no lamentation. What is it? very famous verse in the 18th chapter. There are many in the 2nd chapter also. The 18th chapter. What does Krishna say? Ah, very good. Very good. And what does Krishna say in it? He doesn't say it in English, but we need to hear it in English. What does it mean? No. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Nashochati na kankshati. What is that line? Nashochati na kankshati. No lamentation. No hankering. You know hankering? No hankering. Hankering for Krishna consciousness is okay. So this is obviously referring to relationship to anything other than Krishna consciousness. We can lament. There's a room for lamentation in Krishna consciousness. What is that? Where is that room? Is it upstairs somewhere? This is the lamentation room, you know. Sometimes the queens, they have their rooms with their what do they call it? Their sulking room. Their sulking room where they go to sulk when they don't get what they want, you know. And you have a lamentation room here and a hankering room. Huh? You have plenty, okay. Well, what do you do in there? I mean, you're lamenting. You ever join the temple? You're lamenting that you're chanting Hare Krishna. What are you lamenting?
We are lamented. This is one of the lamenting rooms, to lament that we haven't proclaimed Krishna. So
there we go. That's one angle, isn't it? I don't know how much we engage in that activity or not. That we're lamenting, you know, that we've wasted so much time. So many, God knows, no one knows, maybe Krishna knows, of course, but how many lifetimes we've been in this material world, huh? You know, whatever, in illusion, forgetting Krishna for so long, huh? So long. And even in this lifetime where we've got a much of an opportunity as you could ever get, we're still not taking full advantage of it, you know. Much of our time is frivolously wasted, and mine is. Not so much on social media. Some of you may be, you know, blessed by having the ability to, you know, tune into social media very expertly. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes it's not such a blessing in the sense, at least in Krishna consciousness. We hope it is. But we waste so much time. We're lamenting, we're wasting time, we're not taking advantage of Vaishnava Sangha, not taking advantage of the scriptures, we're not taking advantage of the opportunity of service, we're still hanging on, we've still got our hankerings for our own selfish desires and so on and so forth, our own misconceptions of who we are and so on and so forth. We have to give all this up. But so there's hankering that we're not taken seriously, Krishna consciousness. And here we see a different kind of, same thing in one sense, but different in detail. That the lamentation here. Devotee should hanker, by the way, for devotee good association. Is that right? Should we hanker for that or not? What do you think, Murli?
Yes.
He says yes, it must be right. So we have to hanker for good association. And we should lament when we don't take it, right? And lament when we lose the opportunity. I mean, all of Prabhupada's disciples probably have this degree, at least, of lamentation for various reasons in Srila Prabhupada's, you know, both presence and departure. We didn't take advantage of it in the way we could have done. But that's something one realizes in due course of time. It doesn't happen on the spot. We sometimes take it for granted or don't recognize the significance so much, etc. So there's a lamentation there. In this case, it's for the departure of all great Vaishnavas. So this was compiled by Narottam Das Thakur. So he's referring particularly to the Vaishnavas who are his Siksha Gurus, those who have influenced his life and continue to do so, of course, but nothing in one sense. They didn't have, in those days also, of course, there wasn't so much institutionalized movement, and there wasn't so much of a, massive availability, very little availability of the literatures. We're very fortunate now, it's like on the board there, it just tells everyone just to take a Bhagavad Gita. I mean, that wasn't the case in those days. isn't it? Mass distribution. You're going to distribute, was it 280 Gitas during the Live to Give campaign? That's what I read somewhere. 280? Pardon? 28,000. Is that real? 28,000 Gitas, but that's nothing. You've got October, November, you've got 3 months to do that in. That's only 7,000 a month. That's not very many. 8,000, 9,000 a month. Pardon? Well, that's already half of them are hanging on the roof up there. They're just falling down from the roof there. And the ceiling. 28,000, that's only 9,000 a month. You can do more than that. Come on, what's wrong with you guys? You've got to get the female, female energy going here. What do you think, Murli? That's not much, really, is it? That's 9,000. That's how many is it in a day? 300 a day? That's not much. That's only 300 Gitas a day. If 10 devotees go out every day, it's only 30 per devotee. What to speak of the hundreds of other devotees? 10 devotees can do that easily. 30 a day, that's peanuts. Anyway, that's amazing. 28,000. Well, we're going to see if we can compete with you this year. Huh? Take off a 0, we might be able to beat you. Last year we did over 10,000, so we did do 2 in France. I think we were top in Europe, I think, outside of England. Same with the Bhagavatam sets usually last year. I don't know about this year. Let's see what Krishna's plans are. And, well, Hare Krishna. We sent over our secret agent to find out all the secrets, learn the secrets, and then introduce them. So we'll sing this song of lamentation with devotee. Our life has no meaning without the association of devotees. There's no hope for us to make advancement without association. We're very weak and poor, and there's nothing compares with the Sangha of devotees to churn our little efforts to remember Krishna. It was greatly sorrowful when we missed that opportunity. Is it on the screen? Ye anilo premadana karuna pracho not too fast. Rush too much. Quickly follow the beat, please, and try to follow the whatever you call it, the tune. There's all different varieties are numerous, but try to follow the one we're trying to sing. Yayanilo premadana Kurana Yeyanilo premadana karuna pracho Heno Prabhu Utagila Acharya Thakur Hena Prabhu Kota Kela Acharya Thakur Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasa Raghunatha Raghunatha patita pavan Dasa Raghunatha patita pavan Kahamora Bhatajuga Kaha Kavira Kahamora Bhatajuga Kaha Kavira Eka Kale Kotagila Koranatarar Eka Kale Kotagila Koranatarar Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Goranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Kile Pavo Goranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Sisaba Sangira Sange Ye Koila Bila Se Sava Sangira Sange Ye Koila Bila Se Sangana Paya Kande Narottamada Se Sangana Paya Kande Narottamada Go to text number 2. Kahamo Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasa Raghunatha patita pavan Kaha Dasa Raghunatha patita pavan Kahamora Bhatajuga Kaha Kavira Kahamora Bhatajuga Kaha Kavira Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Nataraj Eka Kale Gora Kela Gora Nataraj Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pava Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Jaya Krishna Das Kaviraj Krishna Das Kaviraj Krishna Dasa Kaviraj Krishna Dasa Kaviraj Krishna Dasa Kaviraj Krishna Dasa Kaviraj Jaya Raghunatha Bhatta Jaya Raghunatha Bhatta Jaya Raghunatha Bhatta Jaya Raghunatha Bhatta Srila Raghunatha Gosvami Raghunatha Gosvami Raghunatha Gosvami Raghunatha Gosvami Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada ki jai. Oh my goodness. Haribol. Time is half over. I just have to really quickly, I don't know if we'll even be able to have time to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita practically. We'll read one verse from CC. Can you give me the Adi Leela, chapter 10? What version we've got here? Chapter 10 of the Adi. That's the first Leela. Quick as you can. Make sure your dhoti doesn't fall off. Huh? Don't be so quick. Here it comes. I'll find it. Adi Leela. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So let's see, we'll read one verse. Okay, I'm just going to read text. We'll just read one verse, okay? Text number 91. We'll read the rest later in the day. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to the golf course this afternoon. Is that right? We're playing golf? What are we going there for? You have a program? I think we have a program. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes? Is it a secret? Perhaps. Anyway, no one knows where it is. We're not going to play golf. Text 91. I'm just going to read it through you, repeat it once. That's it. Mahaprabhura Priya Britya Raghunatha Das Sarvatyaji Koila Prabhura Padataliras Vas Jai Radhalandhanishwar Jagat Baldev Subhadabhani Taiki Jai. Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami was the 46th branch of the tree. This is a description of the branches of the Lord Chaitanya's tree. And that we're not getting into today. You can read that in the previous chapter also, how this tree expands. But the 46th branch, there are many branches of this tree. He was one of the most dear servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He left all his material possessions to surrender completely unto the Lord and live at his lotus feet. We're not going to read the purport. It's quite genealogical to some extent and detailed in terms of various dates and what have you, and how to get there and and all different types of things, which are important, but we don't have time to go through it all. So, having said that, we'll just go straight into the brief summation of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's special. Every one of the Lord's eternal associates, of course, eternally special. Every soul is special. By associating with these eternal associates, we can actually realize the special part we have to play. Otherwise, we're not playing our part properly in this world. So Raghunath Das Goswami. Through Raghunath Das Goswami, Lord Chaitanya taught through his various associates various required aspects in devotional service. What did he teach through Raghunath Das Goswami? They all play this part. They're all instruments. They're expansions, you could say, of the Lord's will to fulfill his desires in the various leelas. They also expand. They don't become such and such. They expand according to the Lord's will to facilitate his purposes of his various avatars or incarnations, etc. So what do we learn from Raghunath Das Goswami? What do we learn?
His stark renunciation.
Yes, his extreme renunciation. We can discuss this. Now, there's different ways and different stages where renunciation takes on different, you could say, form may not be the right word, but application may be better. We can't imitate. Can we imitate Raghunath Das Goswami? But we can follow certain aspects, can't we? What aspects of his renunciation can we follow?
Running away from home.
Pardon?
Running away from home.
Oh, okay.
Eating a lot of rice.
Pardon?
A lot of rice.
What's that? Eating a lot? Eating a lot of noodles? Is that what you said? I didn't hear what he said. Say it in Malay.
Rotten rice.
Rotten rice. Rotten rice. I'm not quite sure what you're learning from rotten rice. Are you commenting upon the prasadam, or what are you commenting on here? We can learn how to prepare rotten rice. No, that's not a good idea. I think your example needs to be expanded somewhat. The first one, who said the first one? Somebody said something else. Huh? Renunciation, yeah, but and then I said, what level of renunciation of Raghunath Das can we learn from? And someone said running away from home. You said running away from home. Well, it's not exactly. What we're having here is a manifestation of another form of renunciation, is to follow the will of the Lord. Real renunciation means to follow his will and not our own. So this is the main lesson we learn from all of the parishas, the eternal associates of the Lord, when they come into this world. And they teach lessons. So Raghunath Das's lessons. Okay, what other lessons can we learn from him? I don't know how far we've gotten at all so far. Yes?
Well, the wealth that he was receiving from his family, he used to sponsor feasts for more than 200.
Yeah, these are all kind of like, we can say, they're specifics and important details. Yeah, but this is after he left his home, of course. Okay, let's backtrack. Essentially, let's backtrack. Let's go on the history a little bit and see what comes in the course of a little bit of trying to remember his pastimes a little bit. Raghunath Das Goswami was born in what type of family? A rich Kayastha family. Kayasthas are usually, they're not considered a high class in Bengal in terms of birthright, but they're usually like administrators or owners. They're managers. They're very expert at administration. And they would often be engaged by the government, as a Muslim government, in management or controlling land. They were very trusted. They were very expert in this regards, kind of Vaishya type of mentality. And he was born into a family of Kayastas, Majumdars. You hear this word? Any of you from Bengal? You're not from Bengal. You're from Bengal. So, the family name Majumdar is very common. Pardon? Is your family name a Majumdar?
No.
But it's quite common. We have a lot of Majumdars in Malaysia, actually, amongst the Indians there. Big family, devotees. So he was born in that family, Govardhan Majumdar and Haranya Majumdar. And what's the name of the town? Village Chaptagram or something? Saptagram, I think it's called Saptagram. And they were devotees, but they were considered to be, like most, devotees are devotees, but they have some material connections. They were considered to be a little bit, materialistic, in many ways. Part of the Lord's plan. So he was born into that family of devotees, and they had a very wonderful priest named Bhagavanacharya. Was it Bhagavanacharya? Is that his name? I think it was. Anyway, Haridas Thakur happened to come there, and he was basically speaking, in one sense, the Siksha Guru of Raghunatha Das. He came there when Raghunatha was a young boy, and of course explained the glories of the holy name in the assembly, and Raghunatha Das took advantage of his association. And from there on, Raghunatha Das, of course, was an eternal associate of the Lord. He's not a conditioned soul. He doesn't appear in this world and become a devotee. He's an eternal associate appearing in this world to assist the Lord in helping others to come to that platform of nitya, eternal service to the Lord. It's a very special situation. The Lord arranges different situations sometimes to show us how we can transform our consciousness from whatever state of, unfortunate illusion we're in to the state of reality. And they may also sometimes take the position of an apparent conditioned soul, just like Arjuna did on the Battle of Kurukshetra, we could say. But they're not bewildered, they're playing a part. They're acting according to the will of the Lord's will. We see this even with our own acharyas sometimes, to show us how Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktavarga, how to transform everything in relationship with Krishna. Krishna-ize everything, Prabhupada would say. So we go through, and he grew up in that family, and of course Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was at a distance at that time, but when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically took sannyas, at that time Raghunatha Das had the good fortune of the association of Mahaprabhu, and he became a maddened follower of the Lord. Nothing else mattered. So we can learn from that in our own way, so to speak, that this is the hankering. He was always hankering to leave home. Now, Prabhupada talks about that in many different ways. We're not going to get very far in this morning's presentation. We'll try to continue this afternoon, if Krishna allows. But his leaving home is what does it mean? It means different things in different situations. So I would say if the home life is very favorable to one's Krishna consciousness, there is no need to leave home. Is that correct? Am I correct to say? If the home life is not very favorable to Krishna consciousness, again, depending on what level of Krishna consciousness we're on, we can't be artificial about it. We leave home and then start another home somewhere else. Prabhupada was referring particularly to those who go to Vrindavan and, men mostly. And they go there and look for a girlfriend. They leave their wife and go to Vrindavan and look for a girlfriend. That's not what it means, leaving home, going to Vrindavan, dressing like a Babaji. Usually we understand, the Goswamis, when in Vrindavan, the 6 Goswamis, they're more or less living like Babajis in many ways, isn't it? They're dressing like Babajis, They don't walk around with dandas in their hands, sannyas vesh. They have Babaji vesh. And they're pretty much performing bhajan. But their mood is not at all, in a sense, what we conceive of as a Babaji mood. They're very much Gosjanandi mood. Their whole mood is how to deliver all the conditioned souls in the world, isn't it? Maybe not the same way as you're running out on the streets of London with, 280,000 Bhagavad Gitas. Was that what you said you're going to do this time? 280,000, wasn't it? Yes, something like that. Not much difference, just a zero difference. You got to keep pushing these guys, and they always underscore, you know. So yeah, but they were. I mean, we all know Prabhupada said they are our actual Siksha Gurus. The Babaji, the 6 Goswamis are our actual Siksha Gurus. They're a real Siksha Gurus, eternally as well as in our present situation. We're Rupanugas. We're following a Rupa Goswami. He's the one who's setting the pace. He's the one who's given the foundation. And Raghunath Das also. Now, Raghunath Das particularly, we could say, I'll just brief this. We'll talk more if we have the time later in the day, but maybe we don't have time, but let's see. It's said that his sadhana, his determination, you could say, in terms of his hankering for Lord Chaitanya's association was so extreme. So extreme. His parents, when they realized what was going on, and that Raghunath was not interested in the material things that they were expecting him to be interested in. Some of you may have had this experience with your parents, those who've been mad people who've left home and joined the Hare Krishna movement, that sometimes your parents are not always so much encouraged by that. I'm not going to embarrass anyone, but I would imagine that some of your parents are not very happy. They expected you to become whatever they expected you to become. A very important doctor, or a lawyer, or an engineer, or an IT specialist, or whatever it is. Now some of the devotees, like Jayadharma Prabhu, he's a professional. He didn't give that up, so time and circumstances, but he's a devotee. It can be Krishnized, but when it's unfavorable, then one has to consider what to do. So often that's the case. And one is hankering for the association of devotees, and, isn't it? And to be at the temple and whatever. It may be the case. It's often there. So he was like that. So what did those parents do? They expect him to take over. He was the heir to their wealth. They were multi-millionaires, basically, by modern standards, maybe even billionaires, I don't know, but very, very rich family. So what did he do? Did he just say, okay, Mom, okay, Dad, I'll give it all up? No. He couldn't stay still. He was constantly trying to run away and join Lord Chaitanya. Now, we're not making this that everyone should do the same thing. This is internal thing as well as external. So he was running away, and then they were bringing him back. They had guards. They kept guards on him all the time. He would try to escape. They'd bring him back. This was a very difficult situation. Heir to their... They weren't exactly Kshatriyas, but they were like Kshatriyas almost. And heir to the throne, you could say. Heir to the wealth. So then they thought, well, the best thing to do here is to get him married. Get him married. Tie him down. Usually in India, this is very common, probably in Bengal. Today, naturally, the parents want their daughters and sons to get married, especially if they're showing signs of disinterest in material life. So get them married and they'll be nicely settled. So they chose the most beautiful girl you could imagine. It said she was more beautiful than the wife of Indra, Sachi, the wife of Indra. More beautiful. You can imagine how beautiful that is. We can't imagine, and don't try to imagine either. Especially the brahmacharis. Okay? But she was very beautiful, and they got him married, but he was still just as disinterested as before. It wasn't the solution, and there's nothing they could do. Tie him up, said his mother. The father said, what can we do? He's a madman. What are we going to do with this boy? He's crazy. He's gone completely mad for Lord Chaitanya. Anyway, the story is a long, long story. He couldn't get out. He was kept tied up. They would basically almost imprison. Until Nityananda came on the scene. And this is one of the major... one is, we can't imitate Raghunath Das, but at least we can have that understanding of the, nothing is important except ultimately. Maybe we have to go through a few steps and stones right now, but nothing is important other than the opportunity to, be what we should be, live our lives simply for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya. So the next lesson, which is a major lesson, He couldn't escape. Why couldn't he escape? Don't answer the whole question, just give me one answer. Why could he not escape? Well, you can say, oh, but they had many guards keeping him back. Yes. Yes. Pardon? Yes, without the blessing. What does that mean? Without the blessings of Nityananda, he could not get Lord Chaitanya. So what does that mean in practical terms? Yeah. Without that, going through the right channel, Lord Chaitanya does not make himself. He makes himself available only up to a certain point, but to actually really get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya is only when we go through Lord Nityananda, which means through the Guru Parampara, through the grace of the spiritual master. So only by his grace can we get the grace of Krishna. So then the next thing that occurred, with many things that occurred, we just bounce home with a few because time is short. There's the whole thing with the Muslim government and the misuse of the funds and everything took place and how expert Raghunatha was. But bouncing forward, when Nityananda, after Lord Chaitanya ordered him, what did Lord Chaitanya tell Nityananda to do? They were both in Jagannath Puri. Lord Chaitanya has taken sannyas. He went to Puri. Nityananda was coming there. He didn't want to leave. So what did Lord Chaitanya tell him? Go to preach in Soho. No. Where did he tell him to go? Bengal. Go to Bengal. Bengal, whatever it is. I mean, as well as I know, there's many things everywhere goes on. And in Bengal, there were mostly they were Shakta worshippers of the energy rather than the energetic, the expansion or the energy of Lord Shiva, Durga Devi, and so on. And mostly they were there, not what to speak of now. So go there, and there's always dacoits and so on. Nityananda likes to deliver dacoits as well. But he particularly went there to release Raghunatha Das, who had the most significant part to play in Mahaprabhu's mission. So he went there to release him and show everyone else how they can be released. So when he arrived nearby where Raghunatha was living, a place called Panihati, what happened there? Raghunatha Das was with lots of followers. He left Puri on the order of Lord Chaitanya, and he went with hundreds and hundreds of his followers to Bengal to preach. And they came to Panihati, which is not too in between Calcutta and Mayapur, I guess. And what happened there? On the bank of the Ganges, yeah. Famous festivals. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita you can read it. Raghunatha Das's Chip Rice Festival, Chiradoi Mahotsav. And what happened there? Lord Nityananda sitting there on the bank of the Ganga, and wasn't far from his home, so Raghunatha got permission to go and see him. Although they were keeping him at home, it wasn't that extreme, you could say. And it wasn't Lord Chaitanya, it was Lord Nityananda anyway. So he went there, and Lord Nityananda was sitting there on a raised platform with hundreds of his followers around him, and all of a sudden Raghunatha Das arrived at a distance. What did he do? He what? Yeah, but what did Raghunatha do? He paid his dandavats from a long way away, and what did Nityananda do? Earlier you said. Well, first of all, someone informed Nityananda that there is Raghunatha Das offering his obeisances at a distance. And then what did Lord Nityananda do? Come here, you thief. You're like a thief, they usually keep at a distance, they keep in the corner, some watching everything, until the time to pounce is there. Huh? Anyway, he was like that. So he said, come here, you thief. I'm going to punish you. So then they brought Raghunatha up to Lord Nityananda. What did Lord Nityananda do? He put his foot on his head. He said, I'm going to punish you. You have to arrange a feast now. Your punishment is you have to arrange a wonderful feast for all the devotees here. Service to the Vaishnavas. So then Raghunatha Das, being, of course, in a position to do so, coming from a very wealthy family, So he arranged an amazing, according to Lord Nityananda's feast. He wanted a feast of what type of feast? Chip rice and dai. And also other, you can read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's actually the recipe is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. At least for some degree is given there, so you can follow the recipe and prepare that on that day of Chiradoya Mahotsav, which is usually in June, I think, is normally in June, I think. Wonderful festival. So this was another inauguration of a wonderful festival. And there's several reasons why Lord Nityananda called him a thief. Well, one is because his family had been charged with theft or misappropriation of government funds. That's one thing you could say. Another is because he was offering his obeisances at a distance, and therefore Lord Nityananda was equating that with the nature of a thief. But the main reason was, which Julan Lila mentioned, is what Lord Nityananda said, Lord Chaitanya is my property. You cannot get him without my permission. You can't. It's like stealing something which is not yours. If you ask the owner, then okay, you can have it. But you can't have it otherwise. So this way you're trying to steal what is not yours. In one sense it's ours, of course, but in one sense, but not without the permission or blessing of Lord Nityananda. So in that way we can learn the importance of approaching the Lord through the proper channels. He's not accessible directly. One who thinks himself my devotee is not my devotee, Lord says to Dasa, but one who sees himself as a devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. There's no one more dear to me than the devotee of the Lord. So many examples, so many references are there in the Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everywhere we see this important factor. That's one major lesson, probably the biggest. So then Lord Nityananda blessed him in this way, put his lotus feet on his head and asked all the other devotees to bless him. He said, very soon, you go home and now you behave just normally, but very soon the Lord will arrange everything for you. Here's another one. Depending on the mercy of the Lord, he'll arrange everything. So he followed Lord Nityananda's order, went back home after this wonderful festival, which I have no time to get into the details beyond that. And what happened when he went home?
Kind of made out that he was following what they wanted.
Yeah, he became a little bit more normal. They were very happy, started to behave a little bit like a normal person. And so they relieved a little bit of the stringent, whatever, arrangements to keep him tied down. But Krishna did arrange, in due course of time, the means by which Raghunatha Das was able to get released. So what was that means?
Yeah.
Anybody else know? There's Murli, any ladies over here? I'm sure you know, some of you. What happened? What happened? Put your hand up if you know what happened, how he got released. We're talking practically here, we're not talking of some esoteric, besides Murli, esoteric kind of understanding behind the scenes. What happened? Who knows? Hands up if you know.
I remember something like...
Huh? Something like...
His spiritual master came and I don't remember the full details, and he didn't seem to believe or something.
Yeah, too many noodles. Anybody else know? I bought this wonderful packet of organic noodles, I think, for him from New York, for pasta, about noodle pasta. Too much pasta. You got it right? Okay, good. Your head becomes like paste. Too much pasta. Who knows? Besides Dayamor Prabhu, he's too tired to put his hand up. Murli Prabhu. Anyone else know? Yes, Julian.
I think the head pujari left of the deities.
The head pujari. Who's the head pujari here? Upanuga. Don't leave, Prabhu. This is not for you to listen to this. The head pujari, what, he blooped, did he? He gave up his service. Okay, we'll put the 2 to the 3 together. That one night, middle of the night actually, or late night. Who was the in this case, it's understood he's the family guru. What was his name? He had Baramacharya. Yadunandana. Yadunandanacharya. He was a priest of the family also. He was managing or overseeing a temple and somewhere not far away, and it so happened that the priest had left his services. It was a problem, so he came there to the house of Raghunatha Das and requested that Raghunatha Das please come and help him to get the priest back, or whatever it was. He was very expert at these things. And yes, the family, there was no objection, but they thought this was quite an innocent affair. So they went off in the night towards the other village, town, temple, whatever. And Raghunatha Das realized there were no guards. It was night. It was a lonely place. They're going through the forest. That this is my golden opportunity. Chance of a lifetime. And he suddenly shot into the forest. There's not much mention of Yadunandana's response, but he disappeared into the forest and went through the jungles. Somehow or another, finding his way, traveling for many, many days through the jungle towards Puri, where Lord Chaitanya was residing. Of course, when the morning came and Raghunatha Das's family realized he was not there, they were a bit perturbed. They immediately went or called Yadunandana and asked what happened. He said, I don't know what happened. He just kind of disappeared. No idea. So then they sent guards in every direction on the normal path towards Puri, but nowhere could they find anybody. They actually, at that time, the group of devotees from Bengal, Shivananda, Sain, and others were on their way to Puri. They actually caught up with them. And they asked them, they said, no, we have not seen Raghunatha anywhere. They were so disturbed what had happened to their son. After many, many days, Raghunatha eventually arrived in Jagannath Puri. And there in Jagannath Puri he took shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How merciful Lord Nityananda is. He saved you from a deep, dark well. Huh? Family life. Don't get this wrong. Those were family members. It doesn't have to be a deep, dark well. It's a well, but we make the well. We make the wellness. Krishna conscious well, okay? Make it Krishna conscious. But he had another part to play, and well, leave at that point. I guess it's 8:30 already, and we have a lot to do before the rest of the day unfolds. So he's arrived in Jagannath Puri, and what does Lord Chaitanya say to him? Another lesson. Yes. Pardon? Yes. He gave in to Srup Damodar, even though he had Nityananda, Yadunandana, at every stage we need that. Don't think we're beyond it. That shelter, guidance, protection, siksha. So he sent him, he put him under the shelter of Srup Damodar, his most intimate associate in Puri. And he became known as the Raghunatha Srup. There were several Raghunathas who became known as Raghunatha Srup. And